Welcome to Heart and Soul with Claudette. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning this evening. I have a special guest with me. I am super excited. I have the one and only, I have this with me. So we're here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us this evening. Thank you so much, District Leader CORDELL Clary. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I am just excited. There is so much happening. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and joining us this evening. There is so much happening. There's so much to cover. I think about what's happening with not only the Black and Brown community, but what's happening with COVID. It's alarming. We thought the worst was over, but it really isn't. Here we are again, where we started, and it's worse. What are your thoughts about COVID?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me, and good evening to all your guests. Thank you for having me. COVID is a very, very important topic. It's something that it shouldn't be ignored. Our community needs to take it seriously. All communities need to take it seriously, and it devastated the Black community. We saw that nationally, that the numbers of people who died in our communities outweighed every other community, with the Latino community joining in with those same terrible statistics. So, with us just coming out of that, I'm very concerned as to how we're going to prevent the devastation of our communities, the disparities that occurred the last time. I'm not so confident that I see things in place that are going to stop that from happening. We lost a lot of people. We lost treasures in our community. We lost our elders. We lost our history. There's so much that was at stake. And for us to go through that again would just be so detrimental to the Black community. And, I just, as far as we can prevent it, I'm encouraging, I'm urging, I'm letting everyone know that, please, we have to take it seriously. Some people are walking around asymptomatic. Some people are walking around and maybe they're not affected as deeply as others. But because we have so many other disparities in our community that started pre-COVID, we have to be especially mindful and especially careful when we go around others and our loved ones and friends who may be very vulnerable and have underlying conditions that could contribute to them not surviving COVID.
What's very alarming to me, CORDELL, is that some people, I think because they don't see it, they don't believe it exists. Well, I'm here to tell you that it does exist. I mean, this came close to home for me. My brother and his entire family, they're survivors of COVID. And I just lost a cousin to COVID a couple weeks ago. So this is real. And, when I see people out there and really following and doing the things that they need, to me, it just tells me that they don't really care about me. They don't care about anybody else, because if you can walk around knowing that, how this is affecting the community, and you just don't care, this is an indication that, other people's life. Or I think the message to our people, to our Black and Brown community, it needs to be that it is important for us, for us to get to where we need to get to, where the vaccine is in the pipeline, but still yet we have to do what's necessary as people to control this within our communities. What do you have to add to that?
Yeah, so I completely agree with you, and I will add to that I think we are dealing with people who don't necessarily even care about themselves. There is a great amount of hopelessness. There is a great amount of carelessness and mindlessness that is existing in our community pre-COVID. And I think there are people who don't even care about themselves. But now that lack of care for yourself impacts others. It can affect other people. So if you don't care about yourself, care about grandma, care about auntie, care about the children, there's nothing that says children are not impacted. And you mentioned your family being infected, your brother and his family, and my condolences to you with your cousin. You know, the effects, the long-term effects have not even begun to be talked about yet. So if you think that, okay, even if you think, oh, I'm whatever you think it is that's going to let you survive it, and God willing, and we hope that you do survive it, you don't know how you're going to survive it. We don't know enough
Exactly.
about this yet. Okay. We don't know what the effects are next year. We don't know what the effects are in 10 years and 5 years. What this thing, will it go away? Does it come back? We don't even know, to put hope in a vaccine. We don't know. We don't know what the vaccine is. Early results, early studies are showing some of these vaccines are failing. And so in many ways, the vaccine will be an experiment in itself. We've never had to deal with it before. And this is a new kind of vaccine. I'm hearing a vaccine that's described as two parts. You're taking something at one point, and 21 days later, you're going to take another dose. And it's only 7 days after that, I'm understanding from what I'm understanding so far, that you become immune. So there's a whole 30-day period in which you're exposed, and we don't know what will happen if you get the virus between the period of the first dose and the second dose, or between the second dose and when you become immune. We don't know enough to even bank on that to say, okay, well, there's a vaccine. And even if there is a vaccine that works, there's no guarantee that it's going to get to us in time, or that it's going to get to us first. And as
Exactly.
many things go on
Exactly.
in the country, we're the last. We're the last to get something that's good, or something, that's going to help us, because the disparities have still not ended. So I encourage everyone, please, and it's so hurtful, because in my community, it got to a point where I didn't even want to go on Facebook, because my page was like a morgue. I said condolences so many times that I didn't even want to say it anymore. It was
I did
very
too.
heartbreaking, and to know so many people, and it doesn't end there. People understand, we didn't even have a chance to mourn and grieve many of those people. There are people I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to. Hospitals were not even allowing us to come, and a lot of our loved ones died alone. And there's no closure, and we weren't allowed to have funerals, and so much more, and then the number of participants was limited. So all of these things are contributing. I often say to people, it's okay not to be okay, because I think we're all walking around kind of not okay. You can't be okay from the amount of devastation
Absolutely not.
and the rapid. I mean, it just was so fast. Some people I'm just learning of that passed away, because it was so fast, and so many all at once. So I am very, very, very frightened of this wave coming back again, and also I'm not very confident. You remember, the leadership of this country said this was a hoax, and caused a lot of death, and caused
Yeah.
a lot of, and stood in the way, and obstructed prevention and safety from being followed. And it's just, we cannot afford to do this again. We can't afford to have this happen in our community again. And then as it trickles down to a more local level, you also have to think about the response
Right.
in our community.
Exactly.
I have people who were told to don't come in, or go back home, you're not sick enough, and died at home. It's very, even now,
Well,
I have, no, I have goosebumps. I'm sorry, and it makes me
I am,
tearful.
yeah, I'm just extremely alarmed with the, I mean, I'm happy that we finally have a vaccine, but my concern is the one that is in two parts, the very first one, which was produced by Pfizer, and I'm happy that Pfizer did this and it's not really involving the government. So Pfizer's vaccine, what happens with Pfizer's vaccine is that's a 2-part vaccine. So the first one, it's the 21-day one. So you take one and 20 days after you get the other one. But my concern with that is our people are not going to go back 20 days after to get the second dosage. I know that for a fact. We're not going to do that. And not only that, but the way that we have to really take care of the way they're shipping it. And I was listening to the news and what's happening with the way they're distributing this vaccine. Our people, we're not going to get it. Our people will not get it. And that's indicative of us as a people, us as a community. We're going to die before it gets to us. So we need to make sure we secure our front. We secure ourselves because the vaccine is nowhere close in sight to us.
Right.
And the second vaccine, which is the Moderna one, which one was discovered or produced, this is just a one layer, and the way of keeping that safe, the temperature is a little bit different, but it's still alarming because the way how they want to distribute it, this existing, the folks who are in government right now, who are in the White House, they want to distribute it in a different way. The good news is that when it's time for distribution, they will not be there. But there's so much political involvement in something that has to do with health, and it's just very scary. It just worries me as a mother of two, as a woman in her 50s, because unfortunately, these illnesses and this pandemic issue, this affects people like us in our 50s first. And this is why it's alarming to me about the folks that are really concerned about really going that extra step in terms of protecting themselves. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I think your concern is rightly present, and we have to be over mindful, as with everything. My mother used to always say, God bless her, she's not with me, but she said, you have to do even better than the other people.
Absolutely.
You can't even do just good enough. You have to do even better because of all, and this is no different. This is no different. The pandemic is no different. We have to be even more careful. And all during this pandemic, I've been telling people, the things that are not being talked about. Take care of your body the best you can. No, there's no cure for COVID, but if you should have to go up against it, take care of yourself. Take those remedies that your mother, your grandmother have passed on to. Go to the health food store, get some of the, eat well, exercise, do the best, take care of your body, even though they're not telling us this. And they, of course they're going to promote the medicine and the money making thing, right? So, but we have to also use our common sense, and we have to take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies and try not to get sick, try not to have to go to the hospital.
Right.
So, this is what I tell everybody. Let's try to do that. Let's try to just stay out of that predicament, because it had ended so badly for so many of us. And it's on so many levels. It's not just, and I hear you, Claudette, yes, I want to drive that home that, don't walk around here without protection. Wash your hands carefully. Be careful about, the gatherings that you're a part of, the indoor dining that has started again. Be careful, be mindful of the indoor parties that are going on and so forth and so on. Let's be careful with that. But also, we have to not forget, and we have to be a little more vigilant, and we have to take action. When I live in a community where the one main hospital in my community, the nurses are protesting because they don't have PPEs. You understand? And those kinds of things are going on. We have to hold people accountable. We have to demand answers. We have to demand from our leaders that we be cared for the same way. The New York Times reported most of the people who died in New York City died in public hospitals. Who goes to public hospitals?
Right.
Us.
The brown and black people. Us. Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Our workers didn't have, and there are other disparities. You know, the MTA, it took them more than a month to make to require PPEs for people, our essential workers who are out there getting people from one place, getting our doctors and nurses to where they had to be. But we didn't feel like, you didn't think that we should have had PPEs for our bus drivers, for our train operators. You know, it just took too long. The response on every level left us in the situation that we're in. And I am not confident that that will not take place again. And in fact, I'm actually sad because it will. Because in my view, and I've said it and I maintain
It
that, and
will.
I will
It
keep
certainly
on,
will.
I'm going to keep on saying it. Our schools never should have opened. They should not be open. And I have been
I
saying that
believe they should not have opened. I agree.
from day one. So what do we, and who goes mostly to our public schools? It is our children. They go to our schools. Most recently, 4 blocks from where I live, just this week, school shut down. 7 teachers tested positive for COVID. What are we doing? We're using our communities as guinea pigs. Okay, our children are,
I
I'm going to stop because, go ahead. I'm going to stop for a minute.
it's alarming to me, and when I think about myself, and I think about my kids, and I think about um, people who have the advantage of being able to do more than 2 things for their kids. Not everybody is in that position. I think about people who are the underprivileged. Not everybody is able to nourish their bodies in the way that they need to nourish their bodies. So it's twofold when you think about it. When you think about, yes, in order to protect ourselves from this pandemic and from this COVID and all the stuff that is happening, yes, we have to take care of ourselves and we have to eat well. But what about these folks that don't have jobs? How do they eat well? How do they protect themselves? We're still really left uncovered because there's nothing really that we can do as a community unless we kind of just really put our arms together and work towards helping our seniors. But how many seniors go to bed being hungry? How many young people, if they're not in school, they don't eat? You know, all these things are really concerning to me. And I don't know the answer. I don't know what I can do as someone who is really concerned about the well-being of my fellow man and everybody as a whole, and more about my community. I live in Brooklyn, but I don't care. My people are my people. Black and brown people are my people. And my interest is, if I can help my fellow man, that's my purpose. And this is not something that I just started. This has always been something in my family. This is what we do. We care about other people, and we've always extended our hands to other people and helping other people to move forward. So that's my concern, Cordell. I get that, yes, the mask and everything, we need to do that. We need to, maintain safety standards and everything that is necessary. But what about these folks that don't have jobs? Right now, with this again, at the forefront of us, with the pandemic really rising again, all the folks without jobs again, what do they eat? What do they eat? Not everybody is going to take the time and give them the things that are really nourishing to their bodies. They're going to get whatever they get, and that's it. So I don't know what the answer is, but I think, I'm glad that you agreed to come on here today, because we just need to speak to our people and make sure they understand that we're here as a community, and we're here and we hear them, we know, the problems, we know about everything that's happening, and we as a community, we want to find solutions, and we have to hold our people in office accountable for all the things that are happening. If we're voting and we're doing everything that's necessary, I need to be able to go to my congressman or whoever's in my community, and say, well, this is my problem. How do we solve this?
And yeah, I completely, absolutely agree with you. The answer to your question is partly, you answered it. Now, what number one, yes, we need to practice safety as much as we can. Number two, we do have to look out for one another. That is how culturally our people have overcome every situation that's been thrown at us. It wasn't because someone else looked out
We
for us.
have.
We always had to look out for each other. So let's, we've come away from that, and it may sound a little corny to some people, but it's not. We have always looked out for each other, how to get a job, where they're hiring, a babysitter, where you can get a room, where you can get those kinds of things have culturally always been with us. And we have to go back to that and look out for each other. So, I do a pantry every Saturday with the mosque in my community. I do it with my church monthly. I work with anybody in the community that's helping. And what's really good? I have to, yes, there have been some terrible things about COVID, but there have been some beautiful things in COVID where I have seen so many people come out to help each other. So many organizations, churches, individuals, you name it, sororities, fraternities, different groups and whatnot, who are coming out and making sure seniors get meals, making sure everything's not perfect. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying there have been some really good characteristics that we need to continue to build on in our own community. One of the things that came out of COVID that I started, well, it was a combination of COVID and George Floyd. And I know we're not necessarily talking about that tonight, but, there was a movement. People were, we're going to do murals, we're going to do street namings, we're going to do, and those things are, I'm not putting those things down. I think they play a role, but for me, you got to show me. Don't just say these words, show me. And what I asked people to do, me and my family did, was in response to COVID, as well as in response to George Floyd, because we have to think about Black empowerment. We have to think about empowering our own communities in every way possible. We committed to the extent that we would order out, that we would eat at a Black establishment, a Black-owned establishment every Friday, and we call it Black Fridays. And we got a bunch of our friends and family to join us in that, to keep our restaurants and our business. Now, it can extend beyond Fridays, of course, and it can extend beyond restaurants. At the time, that's what was open. And I just said, as a community, be angry about this all you want, but if you're not helping, then that's part of the problem. We have to invest in our communities. We have to make sure that we have an economic base, economic empowerment, political empowerment, and otherwise. And that's a part of it. So we have to take a look. That's part of the answer, is to look back within our communities, and we have to make sure that we're investing in our communities. And like you said, hold your elected officials accountable. And it's not just to say, oh, we're going to
accountable.
No, you go to them with solutions and say, listen, this needs to be done. We need testing. How long did we sit and didn't know where to get tested? Couldn't get tested. How long did we sit in this pandemic and people didn't have PPEs? Nurses, doctors, essential workers. How long did we sit in this in our communities and see the devastation? So we have to take action. Action is what we have to take. And I know it's tough, and we have a lot of fights, but we got to be up for those fights. People fought before us, and that's why we're here today. So we have to continue, and we have to preserve it for the next generation.
I agree with that. And we have to somehow try to really get our young people to understand that they're not invincible. They're really not. And some people feel that because they don't see it, it doesn't exist. But again, I repeat, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it affected me personally. So this is why I can talk about it. Again, people move at their own speed in terms of interacting and socializing and all that stuff. And that is your choice. That's a choice thing. But me personally, I mean, there have been devastation in my family. Imagine you going in for knee surgery and coming out and your surgery was successful. And you're coming out of knee surgery and then they tell you they want to tweak something else. And you go back and you get COVID and you die. You know, so my brother, his entire family, imagine a house of 8 people, everybody was infected with COVID. Did they go out and get it? No, it came to the house. So, you know, with us, with the weather changing and us being in our houses, this is the problem now, because I mean, people have to go out, they have to go to work, they come back in. So it's, I mean, they're really, I think the thing is just, again, to be really vigilant about safety measures and really wash your hands and do all the things that are necessary, and just mask up and be mindful of the other people as well, you know, until we can get this vaccine going, if it's, you know, if it's really going to work.
I agree. We should
You know,
follow. We should follow the trend. We should follow what has worked to the extent. Do what you can. We may not have all the answers. Do what you can. And the other thing I wanted to say that we can also do, and that we are doing, and you're a perfect example of that, is we can talk about it. During the earlier part of COVID, there was little information coming to on a community level.
mhm, mhm,
Uh, I'd listen
right.
to the mayor's daily briefings, the governor's daily briefings, but these were more abstract conversations. This was not where uh, in your community can you go get tested. This was not where in your community can
Mhm,
you go to get help if you are tested positive and you are in your house with other people. When you talk about your brother and his family, early on, that was a great challenge. There were people who they said, you're not sick enough to come to the hospital, but you were positive for COVID and you were making your whole, how do you stay away from everybody in a 2-bedroom apartment, in a 1-bedroom apartment? How do you do that? So information and
I
resources
know.
did not come early, and communication with people, what to do, how to do, none of that came early, and we were left out there alone for a moment. And I just felt like, there needed to be more said, and I actually started a daily live around it, because so many people, being a leader in my community, so many people were calling me, well, CORDELL this and CORDELL that, and I would try to find me. I mean, listen, people were like, how do you get the stimulus check? So I had to go find out how the stimulus check was going to work. And I said,
Right.
well, if one person is calling
Exactly.
me, then everybody must have this concern. So all of that information,
Mhm.
just every day coming on live, trying to give people information. And it meant a lot. It helped because it wasn't the silence. Silence leaves people to think anything. But you need to come out and you need to talk. And even if you don't have the answers, even if it's what they don't want to hear, talking about it and letting them hear it
Exactly.
is important. It's important because we can come up with answers together. And before I knew it, some people were, every day they were emailing me and sending me stuff. Post this. I found this out. And yeah, Social Security office is closed, but this is the way you can get a card. And the DMV is, every day we were trying to exchange that kind of information because we were stuck. We were stuck. I mean, literally, I had
Exactly. Exactly.
people coming out of prison who had no way of getting a birth certificate, getting ID, getting identification to be out. Something, things that we don't even think about. I had people who were in prison whose loved ones wanted to know how they were doing. How were they? Where were they? There was a
Right.
push, get people out. There was a lot going on in our communities, and we needed to have much more communication on that level to help people. I mean, I've had cases where people were being asked to come claim bodies that they weren't even allowed to see. How do you identify your loved one in a
I
hospital?
know. I know.
How do you do that? And so it was those kinds of things, and these conversations that were daily happening, trying to find out how people were going to get their devices. In Harlem, we didn't get, all of our children didn't even get the devices they needed for remote learning in a timely fashion. So, we're concerned about what is their school career going to look like. What's going to happen. That last semester,
Right.
our children were just given a pass or fail. We don't know where they are. This
And this is the sad part. I don't know that they really learned.
Right, right. And what why
you
I'm
know.
saying all this is just to say that COVID is so much more than a virus. It's so much more than just, and not just, because I'm not trivializing. It is so much more than a disease or a today disease. This is something that has long lasting societal effects. And we need to really take a closer look, definitely be careful, definitely make sure that we're practicing all the safety measures that we can practice. But we also, on top of that, we have to really make government respond to us and respond to the needs in our community. Which leads me a little bit into our next
And so
topic.
speaking about government responsibility, we're going to talk about what's happening. What's happening? I mean, the elections were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
The outcome is as clear as water. We see what happened. We know what happened, and we're still not able to get in to do what we need to do.
Right.
I mean, this is just, to me, I think about this, and it makes me think about, I don't know how much you know about me, but I'll tell you, I was born in Central America. I was born in Panama. I've lived
Okay.
here in the U.S. for more than almost 40 years or 40 years. So I've been away from home for a very long time. But I think about when I was growing up, and I think about government then. I think about countries that are, third world countries where, there is a dictatorship, where the person that is in power, that's the person that says what happens and what doesn't happen. Now, here we are, the United States of America, in a time such as this. The elections were fair and square, and we have a winner. We have a president-elect. And because of the person who is sitting in the White House, because his feelings are hurt, because he feels that he needs to be there for whatever reason, because he's probably afraid that when he comes out, what's waiting for him. I think that's what it is. But you know what? We have nothing to do with that. Let the man do the people's business. We need the president-elect to make sure to get the information he needs to go on and do what he needs to do. January 20th is around the corner. I don't know what to think about all this. This is just unreal how one person can sit and control so many pieces. Why? Why is this happening? I don't understand.
I think the best answer I have for that came from a couple of young people that I interviewed because I did lives on the early voting and the election day voting, and I was just so thrilled. I couldn't wait till that Saturday for early voting. I voted on the first day at the first moment. I just couldn't wait. And I was interviewing two young ladies who happen to be related to me, but it has nothing to do with it. But I'm going to steal this phrase from her. She said, we made a mistake 4 years ago. We have a chance to do it over. I was
You
asking
sure
them.
did.
I asked them, why are you here today? Why was it so important for you to come out? She said, because we made a mistake and we have a chance to make it right. And that's the only thing I can say to you why we're here today is because we made a mistake. We made a mistake. And whatever it was, in certain parts of the country where people may have stayed home, the Black community feeling very disenfranchised, and rightfully so, even in their own party. They felt that way, and the answer or the response was, listen, no, why be bothered? We're just going to stay home. We're not going to vote. We don't like any of it. So, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. And for the people who did that, that was a mistake. And I hope I'm losing my other. Okay. That was a mistake, but now we had a chance to rectify it. I believe that is all going to go away, but I think that Donald Trump is simply doing what he has always done, sucking the air out of the room,
Always.
getting the attention, me, all the time. And we have to learn how to drown out his noise and continue. And we did. We drowned out the noise and all foolishness he was talking. And we showed up, and that man told his people to stand by. He said, stand back and stand by. And I said to our community, well, we're going to show up and we're going to turn up. And that's what we did. Okay. We showed up and we showed out.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's what you have to do. Stay focused, because his whole game is psychological. It's psychological. It's there just to, whatever he thinks will get the shock value, whatever he thinks will get the attention. And, he can go on and keep this platform and turn it into the racist, divisive, destruction machine that he sicked on this country. So he's getting ready to go. He's going to go. But there's other things that his obstructing is taking the light off of a little bit. And I want to talk about that just a little bit and ask people, because it's not over. We did this, we showed up, but now, we need to really get a house that can work with him. And right now, as a matter of fact, this week I'm making calls to Georgia. We have 2 very critical races going on down there that could really set it off, and we would be on track to get a majority.
We can get control. Right.
We can get control. And that control means so much. It's one thing to be the president. And we learned this from Barack Obama, right? It's one thing to be the president, and then you have the people you work with fighting against every single thing you're trying to do. And that's so difficult and so hard. So if we get Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and get a house that they can work with, that would mean so much more for us to get back on track. So this is about people getting some funding to help us out, funding that we need, getting money into the areas that we need. You have a president talking about he's going to hold back the vaccine. How crazy is that? How
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
So, I just want to hear
hold back the vaccine for New York. For New York State. He's holding it back for New York State. How do you like them apples? Can you imagine?
Yeah. How childish. I'm in the sandbox, and, I'm going home and I'm taking all my toys. And these are not toys. It's serious. You're talking about people's lives. And he's treated it like a joke. He's treated the presidency like a joke from the beginning. The Black agenda has not gone any farther under his watch, and it's very important. So if folks have some time, and I'm looking around because I don't have the information in front of me, but I can certainly send it to you at a later.
Sure.
We want to help our people down in Georgia, and we're going to see if we can get Mr. Ossoff and Warnock in office, because that's going to really change the game. And don't let anybody make you think it's over. Don't worry about him and his foolishness with the recount. What he's trying to do is distract us from the fact that when the runoff occurs, January 5th is the runoff between these candidates, and the Republicans are counting on they're counting on the fact that there are a lot of people, including Republicans, and God bless them, who came out and said, no more of this Trump. We are voting against him. And they didn't pay attention too much to the other races. So now neither candidate got 50% of the vote. And so that's why we have to have this runoff. But what Republicans are counting on is that those people who did vote against Trump, as well as those who voted for him, are going to come out for these candidates in these other states. So they really need our help. So proud of Stacey.
They are.
So proud of Stacey Abrams and what she did down in Georgia.
I just wanted to say that I just want to give, a big shout out to Stacey Abrams. I just want to just say thank you, because, for Georgia to turn from red to blue.
Oh, yeah.
I sat here and I thought about it. I thought it just gave me a chill.
Yes.
Just to think that a sister, and telling you, we are so powerful in number. We are so powerful when we come together as people. Just to think that this sister, she organized, all these folks down there, and she did the damn thing. Yes. Just to think about that.
That's phenomenal.
That's phenomenal. It's just awesome. And I just want to give her, acknowledge her on this platform.
Absolutely. She deserves all of it. And all the people that work with her and the people who came out, they deserve it. And it's really phenomenal because a Democratic candidate, a Democratic presidential candidate has not won in Georgia in almost 30 years. And that is really,
Yeah.
really, really incredible. But you know what? I'm not going to take any shine off of New York now. We had a record turnout in New York.
Oh, well,
Uh,
we did our thing too. We did our
yes,
thing too.
it
We sure
is to be
did.
commended.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't looked at the other boroughs. I looked at my own. I looked only at my own. And I am so proud because my district, the 70th Assembly District, had the highest election day turnout in Manhattan, as well as the highest election day
That's
vote
awesome.
for Biden Harris. So
Mhm.
I'm just so proud, and I want this energy to continue. and and you know what's the irony of it all? The last time I saw a turnout close to this was when Barack was running, and I said, you know, two
I
turnouts,
know, I know.
different motivations.
We all went out there.
Yeah, two different one to get this
Yeah,
over
yeah,
in, and one
totally.
to make sure we
You know,
get this over the house. So I think that's really remarkable. That was what is so remarkable about this election. And you know, there's also there's a lot of talk about Biden and the Harris history, and I think it's important to say that and to acknowledge that. Uh, though their records may not be perfect, um, neither is anybody's, quite frankly. Perfect to me,
right,
perfect to
right.
you, perfect to anyone. But this is all the more reason. Now it's a lesson and an education in holding your elected officials accountable. You're dealing with one person
Accountable.
who you can't even talk to, who listened to no one. And that is what is so frightening about a Donald Trump, as opposed to any elected leader, whether you agree with them or not. It has to be somebody you can talk to, somebody who listens to scientists,
Absolutely.
experts, at least at a minimum. So this is
Right,
about
right.
us making sure that
Mhm.
they hold. I think they learned a lot on the campaign trail. I think there's more that they can learn. I think as they open their cabinet up and put other people in, and our elected leaders, talk to them and work with them. I know that this will be a much different administration, and we have to keep the faith, and we have to keep on voting, and we have to keep on and keep on doing. Next year in New York City, very locally, just understand we are going to be electing a new mayor. We're going to be electing a new controller.
Exactly.
Uh, the city
Hmm.
council seats are up for reelection. Borough presidencies are up for reelection. All of these seats are up next year, even public advocate, but we're not, anyway, all these seats are up for reelection, and we need to make sure that we are
Right.
registered and we keep this same energy and be out there and make sure that we holding folks accountable there as well.
Well, we will. And this platform, I'm going to use this platform because this platform was created during COVID. Believe it or not, I said I've been working from home for the past 9 months, well, almost 9 months. I've been home since March, still working, and luckily I have the capability of doing what I do from home. But I think about so many that can't. But this platform was created because of the need to help my people. This is why I created it. So my people can have a voice. And so I can bring to them what they can't get. This is what there's no monetary satisfaction in this for me. There's no payment. It's just me being the person that I am and looking out for my brother, my sister. I am my mother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. And this is why I do what I do. So, I just thank you. I thank because there are people like you, Cordell, because we need to see people like us doing the things that we do and being involved in our communities because it is important.
Well, thank
It is important for our young people to see that they can aspire to something more. There are options. There
Yes,
are
yes.
options out there for our young people.
And their voice.
And you know, yeah. I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, I said I agree with you, and their voices can be heard in a positive way. Our young people have great voices, and I really want to shout them out for their turnout across the country. Young people really came out in numbers, and they're getting more and more. You know, once you embrace somebody and once they understand and you bring them in, you know, a lot of these processes and other things were purposely made complicated for us. And I think that we're getting
Exactly.
we had a great education with Barack and delegates and super delegates and this, and now this time we're getting even more of an education, and it's trickling down to our younger people, especially with them being home from school, in from COVID. They're absorbing a lot more civically and socially, which is something they should be getting in school, which is not taught. But they are getting it now this way, one way or another. So that's another positive effect. This information, their audience for all of this, they're actually hearing and seeing what's going on in their country and understanding what they can do to change it. And actually, it gave me great pride. So many, as soon as we were able to go out from June through October, I was registering voters. I
know, I saw you. You were on your grind.
Oh yeah. And I saw many of them come to the polls. That was the greatest feeling, to see some of the people who I registered as first-time voters come into those polls and be like, oh, you registered me. And I'm like, yes, and you're here. So, and I loved what the Board of Elections did, at least at all the poll sites that I visited. They were applauding every first-time voter. So you got this great response and this great applause every time a first-time voter voted for the first time. So that should be encouraging, and we hope to see them back in the fall. But as you were talking, Claudette, I want to thank you for what you did during COVID, what you've done, what many others have done, who step in the gap, who step to the plate, step up to the plate and help our people, because we are going to get through this. We are going to get through this together. And this is my saying, this is what I believe, this is what I know, but we must do it together. And that is partly the reason why I said, let me make sure that it's not going to be the same. It's not a Thanksgiving feast, but we're going to be doing our Thanksgiving food giveaway on Thanksgiving Day, starting at 11 a.m. We're open to volunteers and contributions of items or monetary contributions to help us. But we are great response from the community. We have food that is being prepared, a nice meal being prepared. We're plating it in a container. We're not going to serve it the normal way because we're in a new norm, right? We're in a new norm, but we want people to understand that we haven't forgotten them. And this is not for, a lot of times people say, oh, it's, we're doing something for the homeless. I'm doing something for the homeless, the hopeless, the hopeful, anybody who wants to come out and get a plate.
Absolutely.
Or get a plate to even take to someone else. It's going to be good food. It's something that I wouldn't give anybody anything that I'm not going to eat. And I love to eat. And
I agree with you. After we're done with this, I'm going to reach out to you aside, and I'll make sure that I send you a contribution also, because that's what I do. So I'll make sure I send something to help in any way possible.
That would be great, because there's a need out there, and I
am just really excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited that you're here. There are a couple of people that have been on, and their comments. I mean, their Facebook comments. I don't know if you see the comments. Do you see them, CORDELL?
No,
on the
I
side.
Can't. No, they're not coming up. No, they're not coming up on.
Okay, well, one comment from Carlos Sutherland. He said, "Gotta go, ladies. God bless you both in continuing the struggle. Stay safe." And then another Facebook said, another Facebook user said, let's see, Harlem will always be my home, but we all must deal with this COVID-19 wherever we are. Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me just see. Just picking, just going down here. You know, there are a lot of people who viewed, but, you know, some people didn't put their name. But I am just grateful to you, Cordell. Every time I see you, I'm glad that we finally made the time to sit down and talk. I admire you, sister. I admire your grind. Anytime I see someone who looks like me, because we were born not to succeed. We were born to fail. So every time I see a woman, this is the year of the woman. I mean, every year is the year of the woman.
Yes.
But when I see a sister like you, when I see a sister like Kamala Harris, when I see a sister like Stacey Abrams doing the things that she did to really bring us together, I'm telling you, we are strong in numbers. We are strong women.
Yes.
We are powerful in numbers. And this is what I say about, you know, there's so much that we as women can do. And there's no time, there's no time for arguments and well, I personally don't have time for that. You know, I'm on my grind and my purpose. I am on my purpose. So, you know, we should be doing things to uplift ourselves, you uplift our community, uplift our people. And that is my purpose.
It's wonderful. And I think it's a great purpose. And many of us need to find our purpose and feel empowered to live it out. Because like you said, we are set to fail. People write us off. People don't take us seriously sometimes. But Black women have, women in general, but Black women have courageously fought and battled throughout history, from Sojourner to Harriet. We led people to freedom. We took care of each other. We created businesses. We put people in office. We got them there, even when we couldn't be there ourselves. And we're still doing that today. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. We've been the backbones of our community. We have been our tenant leaders, our parent association leaders. We've really been the crux of the community for as long as I've known. You know, my mother, her mother before her, I just have always seen strength in them. And whatever it was, even if it was just, you know, making sure they provided for the large families we had and making sure that everybody had something. That was leadership. That was leadership, making something out of nothing. That was leadership. And that's where we
absolutely.
And it's a little bit different now. So this Thanksgiving event that we're having, I just wanted to mention that we are doing it with other people. We have Harlem Honors, Harlem Inc. We have your organization that's part of it. Mark Alston, I thank you so much. That beautiful flyer that you made me and that food look so good.
Mark, awesome. Kudos. I can count. Yes. I can totally count on Mark for anything. He awesome. Is just an amazing. He's been very supportive of me and what I do. He believes in what I do, and I really, really am very grateful to Mark Alston.
Absolutely.
Very grateful.
Thank you.
So tell us where this event is going to be held, Cordell, so people know where it's going to be, the event.
Yes, it's going to be held on Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, also known as 7th Avenue, between West 133rd Street and West 134th Street. The address is 2272 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. That is the home of Harlem Hidden Treasure, Harlem Inc. And Vito Jones is the proprietor of this establishment. It's a brand new physical location, but he's a community filmmaker who's been doing films about the history of Harlem during a very specific period, you know, the real people that really existed in Harlem and what we came through in the 60s and the 70s. And he's done several films on this. You can see them on YouTube, but he opened his doors and said, you know, this is what I want to do. What if you're doing, we can do a give back to the community. I'd love to do this with you, District Leader Cordell CLEARE. And I said, yes, I want to do that. And we got many other people to come on board. Miss Black American Princess. Many other people are joining us in this effort. And that's what it's all about. Thanksgiving is every day. Thanksgiving for us is different.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, it's not about pilgrims and and other things. How Thanksgiving is about us being thankful for each other and hope for the future, looking forward and giving a little hope to our neighbors. And that's what we're trying to do. By the way, we're also giving out hats, gloves, and socks. So if anybody wants to donate for adult and children, women and men, we are giving out hats, gloves, and socks, which is something that everybody could use.
So what is the best way for people to donate if they had to, Cordell? Please tell us, for those who are watching, if they wanted to donate to the event, how can they do that? What's the best way to do that?
Oh, you know what? Let me get this in front of me. I know we have Cash App, which is, it is the $, M as in Mary, O as in Oscar, C as in Charlie, D as in Donald, C as in Charlie. So it's MOCDC, $ MOCDC, which stands for the Michelle Obama Community Democratic Club. That's my Democratic Club, and that's our Cash App. So they can donate to that. I also have a PayPal. I don't have it memorized, but it is in the post that I have on Facebook on my page. And I'm just CORDELL CLEARE, CORDELL CLEARE. So, and the phone number they can call. I have a phone number they can call if someone wants to volunteer. I'm getting it up for you right now because I don't have that memorized either. But you can call.
Okay.
I'm getting it right now. There you go. The number to call is 201-844-8372. 201-844-8372. I can put it in the chat for you. I don't know if others will be able to see it, but I'll just put it
That'll
here.
be great. Also, when we speak off camera, I'll get it from you so I can put up a post with the details. You and I will speak after, and I'll put up a post with all the details so people can, see where they can donate. And if people wanted to follow you, Cordell, or just know what's happening in the community, because you're everywhere. You're everywhere. Your Facebook page, what's the best way for them to do that?
Right now, I'm having my website worked on because so many people started asking about it, and I didn't think about it. But I am on Facebook. I'm doing okay, kind of putting everything on Facebook. Please friend me if you want to know what's going on. My stuff, it's open to the public, even if you're not my friend on Facebook. You can see what I'm doing. I think it's important for everybody. And yes, I do focus on where, my community, which is Harlem. But about all of us everywhere. And I know the information that I put up there has been useful to people even outside of New York City. Upstate people have called and said, oh I didn't know where to find that out. Thank you. So they were happy for that. So, it's not limited to just the neighborhood, but yeah, just follow me. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm on those other things, but I don't want to talk about that right now because I don't even remember how to get on Twitter. But I'm on Twitter.
That's okay. Not to worry, sis. We're gonna put everything up.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna put everything up. I am just very grateful that you graced my platform. This conversation was just amazing. I am honored to have had such a powerful sister joining with me to speak about issues that affect us as a community, that affect us Black and Brown people, that affect us as a whole, as people. Things that are at the forefront of our thoughts, things that if we didn't have somebody to somebody that looked like us to talk to, it makes a difference. It makes a big difference.
It does.
And I am just grateful to you.
Grateful to you. Thank you to all the listeners. Stay unified. We will get through this. Keep your head up.
Thank you. I just want to thank you, first of all, Cordell Claire, for coming on my platform. And thank you to all those people who continuously support me. Thank you to Delphine for always being in my corner and just kind of fitting in where I don't fit in and sending my information out. I just love Delphine Neal, and I appreciate you, Delphine. Mark Olson for my flyers and all the advice and all the things that you do for me. I am grateful to you too. Thank you so much. All those people that continue to support me day after day after day. I am forever grateful, and I don't know that I say it enough, but I just want you to know that I truly appreciate you and everything that you bring for me, to me, and to my life. My children, my daughter, Maya Alexa Allen, is finishing up her last year at Georgetown University, December. She's finishing up early. My princess, I love you to pieces, and I am grateful for you. My son, Gabriel Ethan Allen, I am grateful for you. My God blessed me with two amazing children. My son, who has a double master, and he's on his own, doing his thing, out of mommy's house, living on his own. I am just grateful for you also. I am blessed beyond measures, and this is why my blessing I extend it to you. So again, thank you to all those people who follow me. You know how you can follow me. You can follow me on various platforms. You can follow me on Facebook, Believe in Yourself video with Claudette St. Rose, or my personal page, which is Claudette St. Rose, or you can also follow me on YouTube. Please subscribe. Believe in Yourself with Claudette St. Rose. Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And we'll be back at another time. Cordell, I love you, sis. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Good
you for
night.
on the show.
Sure.
Until next, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Let me
much.
go back here and end this here. Thank you, Cordell.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. So long.